Okay, so the new Springfield XDS-9 in Mod 2 is just recently available, and I'm sure it's going to be very popular. So, one of the things that people are probably going to want to do right off the bat is maybe enhance their grip a little bit for the pistol. You may think, well, geez, it's got that whole grip zone thing. Why would you want to enhance that? Well, it is certainly better, but to me the improvements are in the ergonomics, the shape of it, and the feel of it that way more so than the actual texture. Although I do still admit the texture is much, much nicer than that pineapple skin sort of grip that it had before. However, I still love a Talon grip, and more specifically a rubberized Talon grip like this one here on most of my guns. So Talon sent me one to try out, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to put this rubberized grip on this handgun, show you how it's done. So the first thing we want to do is make sure the gun is unloaded, and let's go ahead and remove the slide. So I'm going to do that, and now all we have is the frame. Makes it a little easier to handle and apply the Talon grip to, and it also ensures that we're being safe. So let's get started. I usually do a dry fit first, and by dry fit I mean just without removing the protective backing, just lay the grip on the pistol, see where you need to line it up, and sort of make mental notes for yourself about where your different index points are, how you think the fit is going to work, where you might have a little bit of tricky things to watch for, and things like that. Okay, so having done that, I'll set that aside for a minute, and then I will use the alcohol wipe that Talon provides when they send you the grip. Even though I've only shot this gun once, I probably got it dirty. I probably got a lot of skin oil on it. Maybe got a little bit of oil or grease on it when I was cleaning it. So you want to clean all the polymer area where your rubber grip is going to go, because the adhesive needs to stick really good or it just won't last. So to get the best bang for your buck, you want to clean it. And it's amazing to me when you do this, you think, well, geez, it wasn't very dirty. It's a brand new gun. Yeah, you see all the dirt you get off onto the alcohol wipe, and you go, okay, well, I guess it's a good thing I cleaned it. Okay, so we got that all clean, and we'll let that air dry for just a second, which is all it takes because it's pure alcohol. And I'll go ahead and peel back the backer on the grip. There's a couple different ways I'll approach this. Sometimes I will peel the entire thing off, and sometimes I will cut it at the halfway point or just beyond that. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to peel off half the grip, cut the backer. You want to line things up with your index points. And for those of you new at this, which is really who I'm speaking to right now, I'm really kind of trying to target you folks that are a little bit new to applying a Talon grip. You can lift it and reapply it several times. You don't want to do that a whole lot, because every time you do that you're probably weakening the adhesive a little bit, but it's okay to do that, so don't feel like you've got to lay it down in the perfect spot the first time. Okay, so I laid it down there. That looks good, I think, to my index points. Now I'm going to come around the back and see, because this is a lot of times where I'll change my mind about how good I'm doing, and see if that looks centered on the back. And it does. And I cut my backer here, so that allows me to stick this back on, which is important because that keeps things centered up. Now when I put my pressure on this, I'm running my finger up from the bottom. I've got it stuck down here, and I'm going to run my finger up. If I tried to do it this way, I might move it from one side to another before I get it stuck down. So once I've got it in the center, then I just sort of spread out from there with that initial pressure. And I'm just lightly pressing it down. I just want to make contact with it, let it start to stick a little bit in place. So now you can see as we move around, it's pretty well already laying naturally where it needs to go, and that's good. So now we can remove the rest of the backer, like that. And you don't want to try and stretch or pull. You can a little bit, but you don't want to try and do that if you can help it. It's better to lift it and reapply it if you have to make any serious change of direction. But in this case, it looks like we are headed right where we need to be. Except for that. That doesn't look good. Let's fix that a little bit if we can. Up here. So what I'm talking about is up here where we have our little T cut out for Talon. And that part was pretty crooked, so I'm going to move it up a little and square that off. The other thing to go by is this index, this little relief cut right here. And make sure that that's where it needs to be. Okay, now that looks good. And just put a little bit of pressure there. Okay, now these tabs for the finger grooves, you want to set them down straight, and sometimes you want to just look at the pistol this way. If it's going to bug you for them to be crooked, then make sure they're not. So set it down while you're looking at it straight on from the end, which is another reason to do it with the slide taken off, because now you don't have to feel weird about looking down the muzzle of your handgun even though you know it's empty. Alright, so we get it about that far, and I've deliberately left them up here, and the reason is I now have to peel back the part that I started with. As strange as that may sound to some people, that's how it's done. I'll peel this part back up, and then I'm going to lay these down. Now here I do want to put pretty good pressure because it's my last chance to touch that directly. And then I'm going to put this back over. So those tabs for the finger grooves go underneath that starting edge, or the left side. Okay, so now if you look at it all the way around, that's a pretty good fit. So the next step is a very, very important step, and that is to heat it. I use a hairdryer set on the hottest setting with just a low fan to heat it up. And what that does is that softens the rubber, softens the adhesive, makes it really pliable, and it makes it get down into the texture of the polymer beneath it. So we'll do that. Okay, now that we got it good and hot, we'll use my smush technique, and that is basically just press down hard everywhere using even pressure and try not to slide it around. Pay close attention to the backstrap area, because that's an area that is easy for it to kind of slide around on you a little bit over time. And pay attention to all of your edges. You want to make sure your edges are down really good, because that's where it might peel a little bit. Cleaning it is very, very important. And then the heating and the smushing is very, very important. So there you go. Now it's recommended, and I often do, the heating and smooshing at least twice. I won't make you watch me do it a second time, but I generally do that twice. So there you go. That is a good application of a new design, Talon, for the Mod 2 9mm, and let's put it back together so we can see what it is. Complete with magazine and everything. So there you go. XDS-9 Mod 2 with a Talon grip. That does feel nice. That feels great. So there you go.